What's going on, guys? Welcome to May's edition of the monthly check-in. Back for another month. Very happy to be here. And this month we're going to be discussing what it has meant to me to be able to connect different artists together, whether it be directly or indirectly through means of social media, my podcast, and a lot of other cool avenues. But as always, to start it off, we're going to get into my 3 monthly picks, 3 different songs I think you should be checking out this month. First up is a track called One Life by the R&B artist Sweta. Now, Sweta is affiliated with the producer Ninth Wonder, who I'm a big fan of. I had seen his name popping up over the last few years on different collaboration projects with Ninth Wonder and some other artists he works with. And at the end of 2024, he dropped an awesome song called 8 p.m. by Your Side, which was, heavily in rotation for me. And this song, One Life, is no different. This came out in mid-March. It's produced by Sweta and co-produced by Ninth Wonder. I love the acoustics on this track and Ninth Wonder's classic drums that he adds to this as well. And really, it's just a very romantic type of record. I really like the soulfulness of it. And I really like, I don't know if he was talking about a specific woman in this song, but really just his message toward her of, saying that you're the one I want to spend this life with. We have this one life. Let's spend it together. I thought it was a very, very touching track. I almost feel like this song could be used at weddings even to an extent. And again, I'm not sure, who he was talking about in the song, but I thought it was a very, very touching song, but still very modern and still can be played in your car, headphones, whatever. I think this is a really cool record. And to me, this is my type of R&B right here. And I'm excited to see what Sweta does moving forward. I'm not sure if he's going to be dropping a project, but I really hope he does, because the last 2 singles that he's dropped have been very, very awesome. So I would love to hear a full project from him very soon. And like I said, everything I've seen him do over the past few months, I've been impressed with. So definitely go give this a listen, and definitely check out 8 p.m. as well, because I think both those tracks are stellar. Next up is Saba and No ID, Acts 1.5. This is almost an interlude on their brand new project from the private collection of Saba and No ID. And if anybody knows Saba, he's been teasing this album for the past couple years. He dropped a few tracks with No ID in 2023 and 2024, and it took a long time for this project to come out. I think that it was well worth the wait. This project was very, very on point. It had a lot of different styles. I can see why they took so much time on it. But this song in particular, Acts 1.5, Saba said this is the oldest song on the project, and it's initially from their first few sessions. And I just like it. It's Saba just kicking a nice little freestyle over some classic chops from No ID. You can definitely tell this is a No ID production, very old school hip hop style, and just kind of has the weird flair that No ID is known for, as far as taking some unorthodox stuff and flipping it in a different way. But I like it. I can definitely tell it was, from those initial sessions as well. And I think that, if you're just a fan of nice little freestyles, this track is definitely one you want to check out. Obviously, like I said, from the private collection, the whole album is definitely worth taking a look at, because I think their styles, Saba's lyricism with No ID's production, just meshes and matches very well together. So go give the whole album a listen, but that one in particular is currently my favorite from that body of work. Finally, this month is a track called Don't Wait. It's by Demrick, who I just highlighted a few months ago. You remember the album he did with Mike and Keys last year. This is from an EP called, I believe it's called Jefferson Avenue. Could be wrong about that title, but it's a couple tracks he did with producer Jake One, who is another one of my favorite producers, someone that I've been following for probably since 2012. So, 12, 13 years at this point. Jake One's worked with a ton of different artists, and, it's someone that I've really learned a lot from in production. But I just thought it was cool that they teamed up for this nice little EP. I kind of hope they do an album, but this track Don't Wait, like I said about the Saba No ID track, it's very soulful, very old school hip hop. classic Jake One chops. He loves to chop a lot of vocal samples and add just very dusty old school drums. I kind of hope he does a behind the beat for this, and it allowed Demrick the space to kind of reflect on his journey. I felt like Demrick in this track was reflecting on his journey as an MC and really just how far he's come. And he shouts out Jake One on the song, as they're both from Washington as well, which I thought was really cool. So I hope they do a full album. I love what Jake One has done with his full projects with Freeway in the past. I think this sound could work. I never really, thought of these two working together, but I think it's a match that makes total sense. So yeah, this song Don't Wait, definitely give that a listen, and I hope to see more music between Demrick and Jake One moving forward. So hopefully they have a full project coming soon. All right, so like I said earlier, today's topic is going to be discussing connecting artists together. I've had a lot of opportunities to be able to do this and a lot of different avenues to be able to connect different individuals together. And to me, it just has a lot of power. I think the biggest thing with connecting people is that you can create collaborations in different ways that you never thought possible. And for me, when I started out, even when I wanted to work with certain artists, I never imagined the amount of different people I'd be able to indirectly connect to one another. Obviously, being the host of the Proven Knowledge podcast is a big one because I'm able to interview different artists every single week. And then from there, past guests are also listening to the current episodes. So they might hear, somebody else that makes music and might have a similar journey or story to them. And then they get connected on their own, which I think is really cool. A great example of this is two guests on the podcast. One, the singer Tay, who's been on the Proven Knowledge album, Forms of Escapism. She's been on the podcast a few times. And Matt Buck, who was also on the show as Novo Heights back in the day, probably a few years ago. He goes by Matt Buck now. But those two got connected by being affiliated with me, which I thought was really cool. I think they had heard one another's episodes and one of them reached out to the other one, but it was cool because Matt actually produced on Tay's last project because of that. And it was just a really cool moment to find out that, they got connected through something I did. And to me, that's always the goal, indirectly or directly. And that's an example of indirectly being able to, have two people come together and fuse their styles and make something new. On a more direct note, I think being able to use platforms like social media to repost different artists every single week as much as I can is a big thing because others are also seeing the stories that I'm posting. And that's really my goal too. It's not just to support them because I like the music, it's also to hopefully have some other creatives see their work and check it out, and maybe they'll reach out to them. Maybe that'll be a thing. But also, I think being able to refer people, I always look at it as if I'm not the one that's able to work with someone or give them what they need, I'm always going to try to refer them to somebody else that can help them out, and hopefully they get connected and it's a great experience. And I always try to refer people that I have some type of rapport with or I'm familiar with as well. I would never refer somebody to a person that I don't know or that I'm just not familiar with or I don't trust. So I think that's a big thing too, and that's a more direct way of being able to help other people creatively and just kind of create collaboration in a cool way. I guess I say all of this to use it as something to keep in mind on your own end, because it has opened a lot of doors for me. And it's got my name out there as well in a lot of ways because both individuals know me or know of me, and then they become more familiar with my brand, my music, what I do. And from there, you get another supporter in return. And it's just being able to build on that community, something that I always talk about, being able to build a real sense of, support for one another. And like I said, there's no greater feeling than being able to bring other creatives together and just create different conversations too. Hopefully it sparks creative conversation and we can continue to work, support one another and help one another along this journey as an artist, especially as independent artists as well. So just food for thought, I think, this month, and really what I wanted to touch on. Different ways it's helped me and different ways it can help others too. And that's just the biggest thing we can do for anybody else out there, I think, at the end of the day. Some updates before we get out of here. My brand new project, When Loves the Motive, is still available exclusively on the platform called Even. Later this month, however, it will also be on all platforms, including Bandcamp as well. So be on the lookout for that. But if you want exclusive access to some merch pieces, as well as being able to hear the album a little bit early, at this point it'll be like a couple weeks early, you can still do so. I will leave the link in the description of this video where you can gain early access to that. And thanks to everyone who's already supported the project. It definitely means a lot. So thank you guys for checking it out so far. Other than that, a lot more music coming this summer. Proven Knowledge is dropping an EP next month. Of all producers, it's called Summer Solstice. It's our first official project since opening up submissions. And I'm very excited. It's going to be featuring a lot of cool producers. And we're hopefully going to be putting people on to other people's sounds through these different projects, compilations, things we're going to be doing. And like I mentioned last month, the individual submissions are always open now. Year round, they're going to be open. So you're going to be able to send us your original unreleased music. As long as it's mixed and mastered, you can send it to us. I'll put that in the description as well. Check it out. It has all the information you'll need to know. But always, as always, reach out to me. Send me an email, anthonychurch24@gmail.com, if you have any questions regarding submitting your music. But be on the lookout for that first project. It's officially done. It's called Summer Solstice. It's dropping on June 20th. It's got a beat from me, of course, but it also has a lot of all the other awesome producers out there. So I'm just excited for that music, and then my own music as well. Even after When Loves the Motive, I'm going to be having some different projects come out, including another album in the second half of the year. So a lot more to come, but I hope you guys are enjoying what you've heard so far, and there's definitely more in the works. And of course, I want to say thank you guys again for tuning in this month for the month of May for monthly check-in. And we'll be back in June to kind of get the summer officially going, as if it's not here already. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking this one out. And stay safe, stay positive, and as always, see you next time.